Girl! Slay the house down boots, mama.
Now that was a bad choice.
Right. No. Don't try to change the subject. Spill the tea.
Okay, but what was she expecting?
Well, that bitch is crazy.
Honestly, pop off. We should have talked first.
Can you blame her?
She should probably drink a little less. Literally. Well, let's get into it then. It's time to spill the tea with Damon B.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Spill the Tea with Damon B, another episode of the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about dating apps, and I have one of my favorite people in this whole wide world with me, my cousin. Don't swipe left on her because she can go crazy. It's Mackenzie.
Hello, one of your favorite people? No.
I can have more than one.
My favorite, top favorite. Anyway.
Well, she is one of my top favorites because if I accidentally die, I did put her as the beneficiary. So, the top favorite. So Mackenzie, or Mac, I'll call you Mac because we discussed this beforehand. Mac. What dating apps have you used?
Okay. Tinder. What?
Just like list them off. Let's list.
Okay. Tinder and Hinge I've used the most, and I've had Bumble for maybe a week, and now I have none.
Okay, so she cleared the apps. I want to know why you only had Bumble for a week. What didn't you like about it?
The guy I met on there. I had Bumble for a week, started talking to this guy. He was the only guy that I actually talked to on there. Like, I matched with them, but Bumble's the one where the girl has to message first.
Okay.
The guy I talked to on there, we'll call him Ralph. He was the only one that I messaged. So after that, I just nope.
Lucky Ralph, only one on Bumble. See, that doesn't apply to me because it's different in gay Bumble. Because we're both men, so anyone can message each other first. I think it should be whoever swiped right first has to message first. I think that would be interesting.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Or the last person. I think the last person makes more sense because it's like you see you matched, you might as well just message first.
Yeah. What makes no sense to me is like when someone like swipes on you first and then like you swipe on them and you match, but then like they just never message you.
That's actually one of my pet peeves when it comes to the like it, and then I'll message and be like, hey, how's your day going? I'm just getting done work, I'm on my way home, and then I just won't hear back or whatever, and I'm like, then why did you swipe right? And if it's an accident, just unmatch.
Exactly.
It looks so easy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, let's talk about Tinder. What's your experience like on Tinder?
No, good lord. Tinder, I think, is mainly for people who just want to hook up. Like, which is fine. But like that's just been my experience with it. Like it was just all guys looking for sex and that's like it.
And now do all these guys have pictures of themselves holding fish? Because I just noticed that's like a huge trend with all my girlfriends. They go, why is every guy holding a bass or something from a lake? It's the very first picture they see. Like they can swipe through 20 guys and 18 of them will have fish in their pictures.
Well, I'm not sure about your other girlfriends, but I live in like cottage country. And so yes, I will say a lot of the guys that I've seen on Tinder are holding fish. Or there's like Or there's like,
It's because they're a catch. They're a catch,
well,
so that's why.
well, I don't know. But yeah, it's either like they're holding a fish or it's barely any pictures of them and just like pictures of their truck or like their dog.
Let's get into the truck pictures, the car pictures. You know, it's so funny. I know when I'm swiping on a straight guy because it's pictures of the truck. One picture of themselves holding a fish, and then it's a group picture, so you wouldn't know who they were because it's like 7 to 12 guys in the picture, and then it's just their truck. So,
Or like their ATV or their snowmobile. Not them. Like, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm not interested in dating a vehicle.
Well, that's where you're gonna be having sex. So I just want you
On
to
Tinder,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, on Tinder. See, that's funny because in gay world, there's an app called Grinder, and that's just for people looking for sex and like hookups. You can say you're looking for dating, but it's more like, hey, you're 50 meters away from me. Are you in the Sears washroom? Wanna hook up?
How romantic.
That was a very specific example, and that's because it's happened to me.
Oh, did you? Oh.
No, I did
Okay.
not. No, that's when you're looking over your shoulder because the worst is you don't have to upload a profile picture. It can be a blank profile. So when someone's 50 meters away from you to ask you if you want to hook up in the washroom, you're like, where are you? Like, get
Walking
away
into the
from me.
bathroom, like, hey,
Definitely
are, are you here for
definitely
the same
not.
reason as me?
Are you
To use the washroom? Yeah.
are you juicy ass? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Um So Tinder's not like that in that sense, because anyone can message anybody on there,
yeah.
and I usually before before I just stopped caring, I would respond and be like, "Hey, sorry, I'm not looking for hookups right now," or I'd say, "Hey, I'm sorry, you're not my type," or "Hey, you don't have a picture. I'm obviously not going to hook up with you." Now I just start ignoring people and blocking people because most of them I don't know if they feel entitled to like having sex when they message because some people can get aggressive. They're like, "Why aren't you messaging me back? Don't you want this dick?" And I'm like, "No."
That's kind of like Tinder too. It's like on there you can, I think, choose to like say like looking for something casual or like short term, long term,
Mm,
whatever. But um most of the time the very first message I get on Tinder is like about sex. It's like some guy saying something like I had this one guy, he was like, I don't need a rest period in between rounds.
what a great pickup
Like, that was
line.
the very first message, and I was like, "Oh, like, I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?" And it's just like, I know that on Tinder most of the time, like, that is what people are looking for, but,
Yeah.
um, like, when that's the very first message, I'm just kinda like, "Okay, why do you think that I'm just gonna, like, let you sleep with me right off the bat?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I mean, hey, maybe it works. Maybe you're just that 1% that doesn't work on. I don't think that's the case, but
Like, honestly, I don't know if dating apps are for me, and after Ralph, we'll get into that later, but after Ralph, I deleted all of them.
after Ralph, you're like that guy, I'm scarred for life.
That was, like, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay, thank you, Ralph. See, oh, and I don't understand blank profiles or like where they don't show their face. I don't know. Maybe it's just the gay world because they're in the closet still, but I'm like, why would I swipe right on you
They're, like
if you don't have?
they're hiding from their wives.
I honestly, true. That's Oh my god. Yeah. The worst is when they don't mention anything and then you go to meet up with them and then you see a ring on their finger and you're like, "Are you married?" And they're like, "Yeah, is that a problem for you?" I'm like, "Yes, because I have morals." But then when you do it anyways, and it's like, "Well, do I have morals or do I just say I have morals?"
I have morals. I have
Um,
selfish moments too.
exactly, right? And it's not your fault. It's they're clearly having issues. Um, yeah, okay, so Hinge. What's your experience like on Hinge?
Hinge, I found there's definitely more guys on there that are looking for, I think, like a relationship. Like it's more relationship type guys on there. Um,
I've also had experience on Hinge where they're just like, "Hey, are you down to like meet up?" Maybe this is just gay world. Maybe
like
it's just gay world. Like everywhere I go, I was like, I didn't think this app was meant to like for hookups, but it seems to be the case for like any dating app. Um, but then I'll get like a few where we'll have like genuine conversations, and then we'll meet up, and the spark isn't there, so it's whatever. But
hmm. And I've actually never met a guy in person off of a dating app before.
oh, so Ralph was just over the phone then,
Ralph
or
was like over text and FaceTime for a week. And again, like we'll have to dive into him later. But um
on the podcast or off of the podcast?
either one doesn't matter. You'll hear about it either
Well,
way.
let's dive in now. What happened with Ralph?
Okay, so Ralph, he was the one from Bumble. Only guy that I messaged. All of his like he had a good profile. Like all the pictures were of him, and Bumble, I think you can have it's sort of like Hinge where there's like questions about you that you can like answer and have on your profile.
Oh yeah, they have
Yeah,
prompts. Yeah.
prompts, that's it. And all of his were like super funny. Like he just seemed like a really like genuine person, and he just seemed like so authentically him. And so the first couple days we were like texting, and we ended up FaceTiming for like 4 hours. And everything about like it was all green flags at first. Like he was my type. He was like nice. He was funny. Like he had good morals, good work ethic. He seemed like the perfect guy. And I was like, wow, like why is this guy single? I found out later on why. But anyway, so then it was like day 3 of us just texting, and like FaceTiming, whatever. And he started, so I told him right off the bat that like I'm not the greatest at answering. You know that. um, and so
Yeah, you are getting better. You are way better than what you were before.
I'm trying to work on it. But so like I told him, I was like, hey, like I'm just so you know, I'm not really like a huge texter, and like especially when I'm at work because I work in a hospital, like I don't have time to sit there and be on my phone 24/7. Like I have patients to look after. And so I told him like if you're looking for a girl that's going to answer within like minutes, that's just not me. And I was like, I'm more than happy to like message you in the morning or like call you like before I go to sleep. But like I can't just be texting all throughout the day. And he was like, oh yeah, like no, that's fine. Like work should be your first priority, and like like we don't. There's not a reason for us to be texting like literally every 5 minutes. Anyway, so I think I was at work and I went like 2 hours maybe without answering him just because it got so crazy. And he started getting like irritated with me about it. And I was like, so I texted him back. I said, hey, like, I'm sorry, work got really busy. I didn't mean to not answer for that long. And he was like, well, how busy is it though? Like, actually. And I was like,
Oh my
yeah. And I was like, well, it's a hospital. So like people are dying here. It's pretty busy. um,
god.
so that was one of the things. And then so that was like day 3, I think, of him and I communicating. And then he ends up telling me that like he told his mom about me.
Whoa, this is moving a little quick.
But yeah, very quick. And I'm just like, oh my god, okay. And then he starts sending me, he starts talking about like what our kids would look like. Okay, I haven't even met this guy in person yet. We did end up making plans to meet like the next week. And so after the kid thing, he starts sending me TikTok videos of engagement rings. Yeah, okay.
Okay, he's a fast mover. He wants the happily ever after like 2 weeks from now.
Very quick, yeah. And then so okay, next thing on the list. One of our conversations was about Snapchat, because I was telling him about like this funny video that my friend sent me, and he was like, "Oh, you have Snapchat?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, well, I don't." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I'm not gonna he's like, "I'm not gonna lie, like I really don't like Snapchat, and like it kind of bugs me the fact that you have it." And I was like, "Okay, like can I ask your reasoning?" He's like, "Well, I just think it's a really sneaky app, and like people use it to cheat and whatever." And I was like, "Okay, like I get that people do use Snapchat to cheat, but they also use Facebook and Instagram, and they're just their phone number, like you can."
Yeah, and their phone number. Yeah.
And I was like, like I messaged my friends on there, like what's, and also like again, I haven't even met him, like we're nothing. I don't owe him. And
We're nothing.
like we're barely even like in a talking stage. It's like day 4 or 5. So anyway, he gets irritated about that, and then I forget what this conversation was about, but it had something to do with women. And I made a comment, and then he was like, "Oh, don't tell me you're like a feminist." And I was like, "What?"
Ugh, okay.
I was like, I said I wouldn't like like label myself a feminist, but like I'm a woman, and so yes, I support other women. Um, then okay, we had each other on TikTok, and I was just curious about this guy. So
Okay.
I'm going through his reposts because I find that that's a good way to like kind of see what type of person you're dealing with is by like the stuff that they repost. One of the videos he reposted was like from an anti-abortion rally, and I'm like, oh god.
Love that. Love that.
um and then okay, so another, it just keeps going, and
It just yeah.
this was all within a week, okay. And so
Okay, so yeah, the red flags. They're flying high.
they're almost coming off the pole at this point. Anyway, so the very first time that I FaceTimed this guy, it was like day 1 or 2. He told me that his mom had just been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer or something. I don't know. One of the stage. Either way, she had breast cancer, and I was like,
One of those stages.
one of the stages, and I was like, oh, like I'm really sorry to hear that. Yada yada, like just sort of, giving him sympathy, whatever, like as you do. Then, so it was like the very first time I FaceTimed him. And then one of the days where I wasn't answering that much because I was at work, he just kept sending me like message after message after message, all about different things. And I think that he was just trying to like send me something that would like get me intrigued, like and want, like want to get me to answer him. Does that make sense? Like he was just sending
Yeah.
something that would catch my attention, because I think he thought that I was ignoring him, but I was like really just at work. Anyway, so he sends me like 10 messages in a row, like all about different things. And the one of them was he said, "Oh, my mom just found out today that she has stage whatever breast cancer." And I was like, "I'm really sorry to hear that, but I thought she already knew last week." and
Oh yeah, you got him.
and and it was, so the day he said it again, it was Monday at like 9 p.m. And like he was like, "My mom just found out that like she has stage whatever breast cancer." So then that's when I said I thought she already knew last week, and he was like, "Oh, she did, but like she just found out the stage."
But you already said the stage last week.
That's what I
So
said, and I was like, also like is she like what doctor is she with? Because all the doctors that I know don't call patients at 9 p.m. on a Monday. You know,
So he was just being sussy. He was being sus,
he
you
was
know?
like just trying to get me to answer him, I think. Like, and to use like whether or not his mom actually did have breast cancer, I'm not sure, but like to use that as a like sympathy card, I'm like, okay. And then he's like, well, sorry for even telling you. Like, I just should have kept my mouth shut. And I was like, well,
Oh, I hate men like this. I hate men. I hate. This is like, okay, listen, I'm not telling you my personal details until I get to know you. Like, I don't care. You know, you're not getting my credit score. Like, I I'm not going to tell you that, you know, my grandma's dead or like I got someone dying. Unless you're like, why aren't you replying? I'll be like, okay, listen, I just went to a funeral. Sorry, whatever.
yeah,
But unless I know you, I'm not telling. I don't want sympathy from a stranger. Like, hasn't even been a week. You're like day one telling people, oh, my mom has stage something breast cancer. You know, maybe you do need someone to talk to, but that's called a therapist or maybe like a family member or a very close friend, not people you're talking to on dating apps. Don't pull the sympathy card. Um,
exactly.
what sympathy vote? No, I've had people play sympathy cards for me trying to sleep with them, and I was like, "What? No!" I was just like, "You know what? Will cheer you up. Go down to the convenience store and get a Kit Kat. That always does me."
Yeah, or
Like,
like go to the LCBO like a regular person. Like drink.
what? Okay.
But like it's
Hot
manipulation.
topic.
That's what it is. Like they're just trying to manipulate your feelings into to cater them. But anyway, so after that, I was just like, okay, like he was really just giving obsessive, like jealous, that whole thing. And like I've been there, done that. I was like, okay, like no. And again, this all happened within 5 days, okay, of just like over the phone communication. So, and he already knew where I lived because he was supposed to come over.
Oh my
I know.
god.
He was supposed to come over in 2 days. So like he had my address and I was like, okay, like I don't really want this guy knowing like where I live or anything about me. So I told him that I was moving across the country.
So when he sees this, he's gonna pop up at your house.
I didn't think about that.
Well, it's
Maybe.
a good thing your door's locked.
Hopefully not. Yeah, my door is locked. But and so anyway, I told him, oh, he was like, okay, well did you still want me to come over to in 2 days? And I was like, well, to be honest, I don't really see the point in like starting anything when I'm just gonna be moving. And like couple because I told him I was moving in like a couple weeks. And he was like, I just feel like
Does he?
he's like, I just feel like you're lying. And I was like, no, I'm not lying.
Well,
Totally like
does he also live in your area, like
no.
around the same city?
He,
No. Okay, that's good.
he lives like an hour and a half south.
Oh, okay, cool. So at least you won't have that big of a chance to run into him at like a grocery store or something.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me where I've turned down somebody and then I've seen them in public. Oh my god, let me tell you. Oh my god. So this guy, he used to live in my neighborhood. This was when I was in university. And he would come on Grinder. He'd pop up every once in a while. And he was so not my type. It was just, and I told him that just like politely. I said, "Hey man, like I really appreciate these compliments. You're just really not my type." Every time he would go on Grinder, so he was like straight, you know, straight hetero man like during the day. But when he was in the mood, like I want to say once every 2 weeks or something, he'd hop on Grinder trying to get me to come over to his house, trying like just so often. And I kept saying no, and then I would block him, and then he would create a new account so then he could see me again and try be like, why did you block me? And so I deleted the app. I finally deleted the app. And so the one summer when I was working for the one company that's like downtown, and then they also have one like way, way not downtown. So the one day I went to go work at the one that was not downtown, the one way out. And so I took like three different buses to get there. And on the very last bus, it was the longest bus. I think it was like a 50-minute ride to my house. And he lived in the same housing like area because I seen him go into his house one day. He was on that bus ride and he went to go sit beside me and I got up and I got off the bus and I waited for the next bus to come.
Oh my god. I don't blame you though. That like it's creepy. It gives me like Criminal Minds vibes.
Very criminal. I'm like, this is where you get left in a cornfield. This is how it starts.
Yeah,
Like, this is
big red.
also like some men out here are thinking you're the only one for them. Like you're the like 100% match. Like this is it. I could see my whole life with you. And I'm like, there's so many other people out there. I'm like, you've known me for an hour. We've talked for an hour. And it's just like, what planet are you living on? I need to talk to someone for at least like I want to say a week, and then I'll schedule a date with them.
Mhm.
But at least a week. I'm not unless it's hookups, that's different. But we're talking about dating apps. I was for a date. If I'm wanting to get to know you, I want to get to know you before, so I make sure we have like common interests and stuff, and we can talk about during the date and then see if we click. But I don't know. Some people just want to move fast. I've known people who got married after 3 months, and
Oh, same.
I'm like, Jesus.
And it did not work out.
No, and some people have kids together, and I'm. It's like huge trigger for me. I was like, listen, happy for you. You know, you have kids or whatever, but then you get divorced or you cheat on each other, or and then they say, well, I didn't really know the person. I said, well, no shit, Sherlock. Like you got married 3 months in.
I'm a big believer that it takes like months and months to actually like fully get to know who someone is, especially when it's like a romantic relationship that you're having, because like leading up to becoming official, like officially in a relationship with that person, obviously like they're
Mhm.
trying to win you over and like please you. So they
Yeah.
may be like, I'm sure that they're still like being themselves, or at least you hope, but like there is still like some stuff that they're probably hiding. Um,
Oh,
and
for sure.
and
Yeah.
when you like first start the relationship, you're in that honeymoon phase, right? And that lasts
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 months. And then after the honeymoon phase, I think that's when you like really fully get to know the true them. So these people that are like one weekend, like, I love you, go to therapy.
Exactly. Go to therapy. You need maybe get a dog. You can love a dog from day one because that's going to be your companion forever. They don't have a choice. You know, you got them. So get a dog, cat, fish, whatever you need to express yourselves in that way. Um, I just recorded the other podcast, and on there, I said you don't really know a person until you've lived with them and you play board games with them. Because
Yeah, board games
it's
is
all
a great
yeah,
way to get to know them.
yeah. You will see another side of someone come out when you're playing games, especially if they're competitive. Like,
Mm.
I know I'm a little different, just a little, just a little.
Oh, you're evil when you start playing a board game. Something takes over you, and you just like you don't care. You're gonna win.
I am not going to respond to that because this is the dating apps podcast episode.
We're gonna end up fighting.
We're gonna end up fighting exactly. Um, I'm trying to think of like games we played growing up. We
Snakes and
didn't really
ladders.
play any games. Oh, Snakes and
Are you
Ladders.
kidding? That's
Oh,
cottage. Snakes and ladders. Life. Yahtzee. Scrabble. Where have you been?
well, I only remember playing Scrabble with Nan because I don't think you guys were much of a challenge.
Oh,
Um,
oh, now we're really gonna fight. Okay.
oh, Crocono,
Yeah.
Crocono. I
Croquet,
remember playing Crocono.
Yahtzee,
Crocono.
snakes and ladders. We played card
Well,
games, spoons.
well, usually we play. and like in swimming, like we just hop in the water and like first one in the lake and last one out of the lake. But
Yeah, or you try to drown me.
anyways, oh, whenever you go traveling, do you ever re-download dating apps or something just to see who's out there, or?
No, like I honestly, um, this past year, or honestly, even the last 6 months, I'm gonna say, is sort of the very first time that I've ever really used them. And that Ralph guy was the closest I've come to actually meeting someone off of there. And I don't know if it's because I think there's a couple of reasons. One, I grew up watching like Criminal Minds, NCIS every night with my parents, and so now I'm like I just think everyone's gonna kill me. Like every stranger that I meet, I'm like,
Okay.
this is how it ends. So like that's I'm just like really nervous about meeting someone that I don't know. I think that if like I was going to, I'd want it to be in like more of a public area at first, and then also I just find it really hard to connect with people like over text and whatever. Um, I don't know what it, especially when they say dumb things like, "Oh, I don't need a rest period between rounds." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna unmatch you."
Well,
um, you know.
oh, okay. I will say one of my most annoying things is on Hinge because you can respond to someone's photo or something,
Oh yeah.
and then if they want to match, they can continue the conversation or whatever. Listen, I have some great pickup lines, and it makes me laugh out loud. They're like not even sexual. It was just I don't know. I don't even know which ones. Like I've said, I've just told myself, "Damn, that's funny." And I was like, maybe they're not attracted to me, but let me tell you, if someone said that to me, I would respond, and be like, "I'm not into you, but holy fuck, that was funny."
Mhm. I think I definitely. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like think of what I said. Oh, someone quoted The Office to me the other day, and at first I didn't find this person like attractive, and when he said that, I responded. I'm like, "LOL!" Like I knew exactly what you were talking about, stuff. And then we started chatting, and then I'm kind of like I'm enjoying their personality,
Mhm.
so it has kept going. But initially, it was that first pickup line that got me.
I definitely think Hinge is better for getting to know their personality more so than something like Tinder because they do have
Mm.
like those little prompts and like the opportunity to I think they even have like the voice recording thing on there too, don't they? Where like the person can record
Yes.
their voice. So I've heard some really funny things on Hinge and I've definitely I think um had more conversations on Hinge with matches than I have on any other app. Because like you just like I don't know, I get more intrigued by like by by like the prompts than I do like just
Yeah.
with pictures on Tinder.
Well, a lot of people don't put bios on their Tinder, or they'll just do like 3 words or something.
Or like have you ever
But
seen the guys that are like they're like in Toronto for the weekend, like hit me up.
yeah, I'm like, okay,
Like
cool.
get out of here.
Um, but I don't. I guess there's not really a straight hookup app, so I guess that's what people use for like,
I think
like
like
Tinder.
there's definitely like an unwritten sort of rule or stereotype where it's like Tinder's for hookups, Hinge and Bumble are like more so for relationships.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, and for the voice prompt for Hinge, I have one. I think I changed it recently, but the one I had before was like how to pronounce your name. And it was like cheesy funny. And I was just like, my name's Damon.
Not
It's
Damien.
daytime. Yeah, right? I was like, it's daytime and I like men. Day men. Oh, ha, ha, ha. um yeah, that didn't get a lot of hits. So I think so I took it off. But
I thought it was good.
yeah, thanks. But you weren't my key demographic.
Oh, why? Because I'm a woman or because we're cousins?
Both. Oh my god. I am like sweating. It is so hot in my apartment. Let me tell you. One thing about this place, the landlords aren't trying to turn down the heat because I don't have a thermostat in my apartment, so I can't control the heat.
Oh,
I gotta open a window soon, Jesus, but
that
I guess that's
sucks.
good.
Because your last apartment was always cold, and now this one's always hot.
I'd rather it be too hot because at least I can open a window to let it cool down. But
That's true.
like I'm in shorts. I'm in shorts and a shirt. Like you can't wear pants in my apartment. You get too hot.
Oh my.
Which I guess is good if I bring guys over, but uh okay, well, thank you so much, Mac, for joining us on Spill the Tea with Damon B today.
Sure.
Um yeah, I hope I can have you back sometime to discuss another hot topic.
You better have me back.
Okay, I will for sure have you back. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Damon B, and I hope you enjoyed spilling the tea with me.